Hello everybody, this is Just a Mongol. Today we're going to go over the hero deck profile and primer along with a couple combos you can do. So I made the original video of this without the Neos package and everything else in it. And I figured to make one on the Neos build of this. This is the much better build in my opinion. You can do way more with it, it's way more flexible, and overall just way more interesting. So we're going to start with a deck profile, of course, and tell you a bit about what each card does and what you can do with it. Anyway, starting off, play 3 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. This is a really solid card. When it's normal or special, you can search for any hero monster, or you can also destroy spells and traps equal to the number of other heroes you control. Really great card, really great type. Has some decent attack as well, 1800 for a level 4 is pretty decent. Yeah, pretty solid card. Also, one of the only few ways to search for Ferris, ideally. Next up, we play 1 copy of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist is crucial to the end combo board, but there are times where you do want to use its search effect if you don't have a way to get to Ferris. But if you do have a Fusion Destiny in hand and nothing else, they can search Ferris if you want. Shadow Mist is really good. Most of the time, we're going to be summoning it off of Wake Up Your Elemental Hero to search for a mass change. Next up, we play 1 copy of Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. Very advantageous type, being a water. We almost never really use that revive effect on normal summon. We're almost always going to be using it for its draw 2 and discard 1 ability. It's just a super good ability. You can also use it whenever it's sent to the grave or banished for a fusion summon, which is really good. Next up, I play 1 copy of Blazeman. This is a fire type. Blazeman pretty much just searches Poly. It's just another way to get to it. I personally like playing it. There are times in games where it does come in handy. Not every game it comes in handy, though. Sometimes you don't draw it just because there's a one-of. But when it comes in handy, he really does come in handy. Next up, we play 1 copy of Elemental Hero Neos. This is your vanilla in the deck, and you'll be searching this, of course, off of Infernal Devicer. I would say this is a brick, but technically not, because you will be fusion summoning it anyway, well, using this as material. Doesn't matter if you draw it in your opening or you search it off Infernal Devicer. Either way, as long as you're getting to it, it's good. And for the Destiny Hero package, I play 2 copies of Malicious, 1 copy of Denier. Denier is really good when Denier is normal or special. You can pretty much recycle any Destiny hero from your grave, banished, or deck and put it to the top of the deck. Every single time, you're going to want to get that banished Malicious and just recycle the top of the deck, just so you have a fresh body. Also, if you have a Destiny hero in the grave other than Denier, you can special summon it and then activate the effect to recycle that banished Malicious. Really helpful card, really good. It's pretty much like running an extra Malicious. Just an amazing card. Next up, 1 copy of Destiny Hero Dark Angel. Dark Angel's pretty cool. This is what I usually search off of Cross Crusader. That's what I usually go into. So if you have 3 or more Destinies in your grave, you can discard Dark Angel, target one of them special to the opponent's side of the field. You're always going to pick Dark Angel, of course. When a player controls Dark Angel in their field, any spell cards activate are negated. It's not a once per turn thing. Any spell cards activate while they control a face-up Dark Angel are all negated. Next up, we play 1 copy of Plasma. This thing comes in handy once in a while. I will be warning, though, don't Dark Angel and then play Plasma. It does nothing. Getting into the Vision Hero lineup, we play 3 copies of Ferris, 2 copies of Increase, and 2 copies of Vion. So this is a requirement for the hero package. Ferris can discard a hero to special itself. When it's special, you can put Increase from the deck into the trap zone. Increase can tribute a hero you control special, and then special a Vision Hero Vion from deck. When Vion is summoned, you can dump any hero monster from deck to grave. So we're almost always going to be dumping either Malicious or Denier, depending on what we discarded off of Ferris. And it can also banish a hero to search a poly from deck. Increase is definitely a brick. If you draw it, the combo's dead, which is why I play 2. There have only been 2 games out of every single game I've played where I've only drawn 2 increase in opening, and it just kills it. But those times are very few and far between that I think running 2 is optimal. I would not suggest just running 1. You will draw it, and then you will lose because you are not able to go in the combo. Which is why I say 2 is mandatory. Next up, we have the spells. I play Rhoda, 2 copies of E-Call, 3 copies of Hero Lives. E-Call and Hero Lives have a fairly slim pool, only being able to get to the E-Heroes, but since Stratos is such an important part of the combo, and pretty much the only way you're going to search Ferris, it is definitely needed to be run. For the fusion stuff, we play 2 copies of Poly. 1 copy is doable. I think 2 is fine. There are times where your opponent knows that your vulnerability is searching Poly off of your Vion, which if you play 2, sometimes you actually draw into the first one, and then you can bluff your opponent by acting like you're about to search for the second one. Then they'll imperm or book or whatever your Vion, which is pretty good. I just like 2. You can play 1 if you want. I think 2 is my preferred ratio. 1 copy of Miracle Fusion. This is searchable off of Sunrise. I play 2 copies of Mass Change. Because it's searchable off of the mainline combo of Shadow Mist, we only need to play 2. Next up, I play 3 copies of Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny is a really great card. I think of it more as a double Foolish Burial, because you can fusion summon a Destiny Hero monster using materials from your hand or deck. But however, you're only locked into special and darks for the rest of turns, but you can normal summon non-darks, which is something to keep in mind. This thing is really handy if you have no way to get to Ferris. You can send Shadow Mist if you go into Dangerous, and then you get to search for Ferris, which is really good. These cards have helped me a ton with just absolute brick hands. They give you a fighting chance pretty much, which is definitely needed. This is optional. This is my preferred build. I play 3 Super Poly. You could bump this down to 2. I think 3 is fine. Our Super Poly targets here are Elemental Hero Escaradio, potentially Destiny Hero Dangerous, and potentially Elemental Hero The Shining are our fusion or Super Poly targets. And then we move on to the traps. We play 1 copy of Favorite Contact, and this is my flex spot, so you can play whatever you want here. I play 3 Imperm. So Favorite Contact is a really busted card. This is searchable off of the new Flame Wingman monster, which is really useful. So you can special summon a fusion monster from the extra deck that mentions a hero as material, ignoring its summoning conditions, by recycling the materials to the bottom of the deck in any order from the cards in your hand, field, grave, or banished. So almost always you're going to be recycling those cards that you banished for your Miracle Fusion to go into Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. But this is not only where this thing stops being crazy, that in fact gets even more crazy. If you used Elemental Hero Neos as a material, neither player can return it to the extra deck. So it cannot be returned by compulse effects or by unicorn type effects, which means it can't be added back to the hand and it can't be recycled back into the deck, which is really useful. There have been plenty of games where my opponent just didn't read what this card did, and then they summon a unicorn thinking that they've added it. In fact, they have not added it. Getting into the extra deck, I play Infernal Rage. This card is really, really nice. Not only can it search your favorite contact, but it can also tag itself out into another elemental hero monster, which you're also going to be tagging it into Sunrise. Sunrise on summon gets the search for Miracle Fusion. Your Miracle Fusion target will be Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. Specifically in the old build, this thing was used as a beat stick. Currently, you're going to be popping this thing with DPE to get the search off of it to summon Shadow Mist from hand or deck, and then search for Mass Change. Next up, this is your new boss. This is what you're going to be summoning off of your favorite contact. This is Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman. So this thing takes a Neos and a Wingman fusion. It gains a bunch of attack for each monster in your grave. Can't be destroyed by card effects. If it's special summoned, you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of different attributes among monsters on the field. So you're always going to get at least one pop with this, being it's a light, usually two, since you're also going to have a dark. It also counts the attributes your opponent plays as well. So if they're playing like a fire deck, for example, that would give you usually like 3 pops. Pretty useful. He gets really beefy. Great card. This is specifically for the Nibiru stuff. Elemental Hero The Shining, because it takes a Elemental Hero and any light monster. This is also technically a Super Poly target as well, so that's 1+ light. Usually, the 2 cards that kill this deck the quickest is Droll Lockbird and Nibiru. However, if your opponent drops Nibiru pretty early, and you have that Poly in hand, then you can just poly into the Shining using that Nibiru token, which is pretty useful. Next up, Elemental Hero Escaradio. This takes a Elemental Hero monster and 1+ dark. So this is a fusion poly target, which is what I usually go into, my super poly target. Most of the time, if I ever have super poly, I'm going into this thing. And for the Destiny Hero fusions, we play Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer. This is the Destiny Hero that you're going to go into almost every single game. This card is absolutely, positively one of the best fusions in this entire deck. Specifically because not only can it pop itself, or pop a card you control and then pop a card your opponent controls, if it pops itself, you can activate the effect Engrave to revive itself during the next standby phase. So it's recurring, it pops, it also destroys some of your own cards, something like Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. It pops that, which is really useful. You get to choose. Amazing card. It does get called by the grave a lot, which sucks, but... Next up, Dystopia and Dangerous. Dystopia is for those games in time where I really need to burn for whatever reason. I'll usually burn for 11 due to having Denier Engrave. And Dangerous, of course, is not only a super poly target, but also our Fusion Destiny target if we don't have Ferris. For our Masked Hero lineup, we play 1 Dark Law and 1 Blast. There aren't really any games where I feel like I need to go into a second Dark Law, which is why I think that 1 is just fine. If you want to play 2, you can go ahead and trim a few cards down from the extra deck. However, I think 1 is perfectly fine. For the links, we play Infernal Devicer, Wonder Driver, Cross Crusader, and Dread Decimator. Now, you play them in this specific order, but I'll get to that in a minute. So, starting off, we play Infernal Devicer first. This just takes any 2 heroes. And when it's linked, you can reveal a fusion monster from your extra deck, which we would reveal our Shining Neos Wingman to the opponent. And then we will be able to search for a Neos from deck. After that, we use Infernal Devicer to go into a Wonder Driver, which just takes any 2 heroes. Wonder Driver, when a monster is special to a zone it points to, you can reset a poly or fusion or quick play change spell from your grave to the field. After that, we're going to use that to go into Cross Crusader, specifically because Cross Crusader takes 2 warriors, and Infernal Devicer is a fiend type for whatever reason. Cross Crusader on Link Summon can special summon back a Destiny hero from your graveyard, and it can also tribute a Destiny hero you control to search for any hero monster from your deck, which we are almost always going to be searching for our copy of Dark Angel. And then next up, we play one copy of Dread Decimator. Dread Decimator is specifically for those games where I really need an OTK, and or turning on Dystopia since it does raise attack. Most of the time, though, we aren't really going into Dread Decimator. And getting into the side deck. Side deck is personal preference. You can play whatever you want here. I am playing 3 Nibiru, 3 Gamma Seal, 3 Dark Ruler No More, 2 Lightning Storm. I'm trying out the 1 Forbidden Droplet. You could honestly play the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, which I think would be better. But I'm just trying out the 1 Droplet. And of course I'm playing the 3 Evenly Matched. So I find that in the side deck, it's really important to get a bunch of board breakers. I see often what I used to do was have stuff like Book of Moon or whatever in the side, which is useful, but I think the board breakers in general are just much better for going second during your game 2 or whatever. It's always better game 2 and 3 just to get board breakers rather than stallers or negators. I think that these are pretty good sideboard picks. And I'm about to show you guys a 2-card combo. Okay, so for the 2 cards you're going to need, you're either going to need Destiny Hero Malicious or Denier, and Stratos, or a way to get to Stratos. Preferably either drawing it or searching or getting a Hero Lives, E-Call, or a Rhoda. To start our turn by normal summoning Stratos. Stratos will get us a search. We're going to search for a Vision Hero Ferris. Can activate Ferris to discard Malicious from our hand, specialing itself, and then putting Increase into the Spell and Trap zone. Increase will then tribute Ferris, specialing itself, and then specialing Vion from deck. Vion on summon gets us a dump. We're going to pick the other Destiny hero. In this case, we're going to pick Denier. After that, we're going to activate the effect to banish Ferris from our grave and search Poly from our deck. I oftentimes, for whatever reason, forget to do this and then muck up the entire combo like an idiot. After that, we're going to perform a Link Summon here for Infernal Devicer using both of those Vision Hero monsters. Infernal Devicer will reveal our Shining Flare Neo Swingman to the opponent. And then we get to search for a Neos. After that, usually I'll try to get a different elemental hero monster in hand if possible, just to save an extra bounty on the field. But since we don't have that, for simplicity's sake, we're going to poly here, using both of those elementals for a Infernal Rage. Infernal Rage on summon will search us a copy of Favorite Contact. After that, we're going to banish our Malicious from grave to search for a copy from our deck. We're then going to perform another Link Summon here for a copy of Wonder Driver. We're then going to tag out of Infernal Rage and go into Sunrise. We're going to reset that Polymerization from grave. And then we're also going to search for a Miracle Fusion here. We're then going to Miracle Fusion here, banishing our Infernal Rage and our Neos for a copy of Wake Up. After that, we're going to activate Denier to special itself to recycle that Banished Malicious to the top of the deck. After that, we're going to banish Malicious from our grave to special that copy back from the deck. And we're going to activate Polymerization here, fusing both of those Destiny heroes for a copy of DPE. After that, this is where if you had another body on the field or a different elemental hero in the hand, you could have had that extra Stratos and then used it with the Wonder Driver to go into a Cross Crusader. But since we don't have that, we're going to use Sunrise and Wonder Driver to go into a copy of Cross Crusader here. Cross Crusader on summon will put back our Malicious back to the field. Then we're going to tribute it to search for a copy of Dark Angel. After that, we're going to DPE pop itself and then pop a Wake Up, declaring the revival for DPE next turn. And then specialing the Shadow Mist from our gray deck. Well, on summon, we get to search a Mass Change from deck. After that, we're going to set 2, activate Dark Angel, because we have 3 Destiny Heroes engraved, discard it, and then special it back to the opponent's side of the field. And then pass turn. During the draw phase, we're going to flip up Mass Change, getting rid of that Cross Crusader for a copy of Darklaw. Again, very important to make sure that you put your monsters in defense, not only to avoid Lightning Storm, but also there are 2 ways to get rid of Dark Angel, either by using it as material for something like a Link Summon, or by crashing into an opponent's attack position monster. During the standby phase, don't forget to special summon back your DPE and defense. And yeah, definitely not the strongest board, but it is pretty nice. Of course, we have that favorite contact for a couple pops. We also, if they happen to get rid of our Shadow Mist, we get a free hero search. So yeah, it doesn't really look like much, however, it definitely will win you a couple of games, especially when you have a full hand and way more resources to work around with. Alright, now we're going to shuffle and draw 5, and then do a little mock-up game. Of course, we're going to assume that we're going first, with no interruptions from the opponent, just for demonstration purposes. Definitely not the best hand I've seen, but again, you could probably make this work. Interesting. Very interesting. There's not a whole lot we can do with this hand, surprisingly. Which does suck. But I think probably the best course of action here is to Ferris and discard Blazeman from hand, special itself. And then increase the trap zone, increase Tribute Ferris, special itself, special Vion from deck. Vion on summon gets a dump. We're going to dump Malicious. After that, we're going to banish that Ferris for a copy of Polymerization from our deck. What to do? We don't really have a whole lot of options here, considering how bad we drew. Interesting. I think our best course of action here is to Since we drew so bad, I think our best course here is to Cross Crusader. Cross Crusader, special back that Malicious. Tribute it for a search. Yeah, I think I'm going to search for a copy of Stratos. Since we've not normal summoned, we're going to normal summon Stratos, activate the effect for a search. I think the search we're going to go for is a Liquid Soldier here. Hopefully it draws us something. Actually, I'm going to banish this Malicious here. Special a copy from the deck. And then go into a driver. After that, we're going to poly here for Liquid Soldier and Stratos for we're going to search or special a Infernal Rage, reset that poly, and then search for a favorite contact. And since we did not use Neos, we cannot tag out into a Sunrise, but we don't really need to anyway, since we already have that Miracle Fusion on board. And then draw 2 and discard 1. Interesting. Well, seeing as we don't have a Dark on board, I think we'll probably... I think the best course of action is discard Shadow Mist and then search for a hero. I think we'll search for... I think we'll search for a... either a Denier or a Plasma is what I'm thinking here. Because Denier could be good for a discard off of Super Poly. But Plasma is good for that. I think I'll add Denier. After that, we have a Poly here. Actually, we can do a Sunrise right now if we wanted. I think that is probably what we're going to do. We're going to Sunrise here. Fusing Denier and Stratos for a Sunrise here. After that, we're going to... Oh yeah, we never did search for Neos, so we can't really do exactly what we want, which does suck. I think we're going to Miracle Fusion here. We'll... yeah, we'll banish Infernal Rage. And... shits and giggles, Liquid Soldier. For a Wake Up. After that, we're going to set... But if I'm going to set the imperm, I think the best course of action is, personally, is what I'm thinking, is to set the poly and then save the favorite contact for a discard. I don't know how well it's going to work, but yeah. Not bad, considering that we drew absolute garbage. I think we made it work, kinda. Definitely not the ideal hand that I'd like to see, though. So we're going to try that one more time and see what we can do. Alright. Going to shuffle real quick, cut the deck, and then draw another 5. See where it takes us. This is why you play second increase. Absolutely no spells, which isn't the end of the world. I think we're going to start by discarding Shadow Mist for Ferris. Ferris will add increase to the trap zone. And then tribute Ferris, special itself, special Vion from deck. Vion on summon gets a dump. We're going to send a copy of Malicious to the grave. After that, we're going to banish Ferris, search for a Poly. And also search a monster off of Shadow Mist. We're going to search for a Stratos. Going to normal Stratos here. Searching for a... I think a Denier will do here. Then we'll perform a Link Summon here for Infernal Devicer. Infernal Devicer will search us a Neos from deck. After that, we're going to Polymerization here for a Neos and Liquid Soldier in hand. Special Infernal Rage. Infernal Rage will search us that favorite contact. And we also get a draw 2 and discard 1 off of a Liquid Soldier. Interesting. Of course, I'm going to discard a Denier here. And then we're going to perform a Malicious here. Banishing itself from grave and specialing a copy from our deck. We shall then perform a Link Summon for Wonder Driver, of course. Tag out of Infernal Rage into a Sunrise. Reset that Poly off of Wonder Driver. And search for a Miracle Fusion. After that, I think we're going to perform another Link Summon here for Cross Crusader. Returning that Malicious back, tributing it for a Dark Angel. After that, we will couple different things we can do. I know that we're now locked out of that mass change, unfortunately, since we really had to use that Shadow Mist. Which I think currently we will Denier, bounce that Malicious back to deck, banish Malicious, special a copy from deck, form a Fusion Summon for a DPE. After that, we're going to form a Miracle Fusion. And we have 2 Engrave. That's our third one there. I think that we're now going to DPE, pop itself, and then pop that Wake Up. Don't forget to declare your DPE. And since we can't search for that mass change, unfortunately, I think instead we can search for a... let's search for a Stratos. That Stratos will get us a search for... I think a Plasma will do. After that, because we control 3 Destinies in the grave, we're going to discard Dark Angel, special to the opponent's side of the field. And then we will set Imperm, set Favorite Contact, set Super Poly, and then pass turn to them. During their standby phase, we'll special summon back DPE. And yeah, not bad. We ended on a DPE. We have a Stratos, which doesn't do anything. We have a Sunrise. The opponent has a Dark Angel. Have a set Favorite Contact, a set Imperm, and a set Super Poly. We also have in hand a DPE. So yeah, definitely not the worst M board. Could have drawn a little better in the opening. Could have drawn a Stratos or whatever instead of that Shadow Mist. But either way, we got a pretty decent board, I think. I think the Super Poly really makes up for the... sometimes you just don't have access to mass change, unfortunately. Which is why I think Super Poly is pretty good in this, because sometimes it does substitute for the lack of that Super Poly, or that mass change. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know what things you change about it, different combo lines. I'd love to hear it. I really love heroes, and I love making these types of videos. Anyway, thanks for watching. Eat.